Why, hello and welcome everybody. It is Pohx again. So, previously in some other videos, I was talking to you guys about my Flame Totem character that I had as Marauder, and I come to you guys with, I want to say, one of my near-finished products now with the character. Now, of course, I can't showcase the build because I ended up deleting it and doing some other stuff and rebuilding it, and I'm actually very impressed with the way the character is now. I know a lot of people have addressed to my attention that sorry, Incinerate Totem. That Incinerate Totem is a popular build. You know, I'm sorry guys, I can't make everything as customizable as I used to. With the meta change and the meta shifting over to, you know, raw HP mitigation, moving a bit away from evasion unless you want to spend, you know, multi-exalteds getting a taste of hate with, you know, a lightning coil and etc. So I kind of wanted to just play something that I think is going to do really, really well rather than, you know, YOLO it and then have it not work and then just not like the game. So, you know, a lot of people expressed to me that they'd rather see me play a build that's common than just not play the game at all, which would be the case, you know, kind of. But anyway, I want to say maybe my Incinerate Totem's a bit more unique than most people. I don't really know. I don't know if people do Iron Will Incinerate Totem. You know, I don't expect for it to be the very best. But anyway, let's talk about this. So, originally I was an Iron Will Marauder, and this is what my Marauder tree looked like, if you follow this blue line here. And I decided to swap it over to Scion, and there's a couple reasons why. So first off, with the route that I have now, my Scion one is 2 points more than my Marauder, and it actually gets, I lose a bit of base life, right? I lose 9% max life, however I gain 1 jewel, so, you know, I lose about 4% life or so. I lose 6% armor, but I gain Unrelenting. And overall, it just feels so much more clean. So let's talk about why I decided Scion over Marauder. Now, please do note that Marauder or Templar or Scion are all three good. You know, all three of them work just fine. I feel Scion is the better pick, though. So with the Marauder, you start off and you get base life with armor, and then you can get all the armor through here, grab the life. But I just can't justify this part here. I don't like it. You know, my roommate really enjoys it. I don't like this part. You know, going through here forces you to have to connect through here, which then promotes the fact of going up here rather than going around here, which means you're spending another point, and then you pretty much are going to get Arsonist at that point. But actually, with my Incinerate build right now, I don't even have 1 drop of fire damage in it. The only thing I have is elemental damage, and that's it. You know, elemental damage and cast speed is what primarily I'm going to use. So I decided to go Scion instead, because if you go Scion, you know, you're going to start here, you come down, you get projectile damage, which is good because it's going to scale any element that's attached to your Incinerate. You get the Jewel, which I can't stress how important Jewels are going to be in this build. I didn't realize it till later on, which was after the video I made. The Jewels are going to be so important in this build because as an Iron Will character, you're extremely limited to how much cast speed you can get on your tree. You are, you know, a Templar and Marauder, you don't have much cast speed aside from, you know, Retribution, Light of Divinity, a 3% cast speed node, and then all of your hybrid cast speed nodes that are attached to your totems directly. Other than that, you have no cast speed. You know, you're not playing a Shadow, you're not playing a Witch. You know, Shadow and Witch, they have abundance of casting speed all over the tree that you can pick up, whether it's the cast speed clusters, you know, built into the class themselves. So you're really, really, really limited. So I feel that Jewels, which is why I have 5, 4 of them just being random cast speed ones, 1 of them being a Rain of Splinters, are going to be so trivial with your build to actually, you know, generating success with your character. So anyway, we decided to go Scion because we can come down through projectile damage. Now, projectile damage offers you many different ways of leveling. You could level with Freeze Pulse, which you don't get at level 1, but you can level with Magma Orb, which is a projectile. You can level with Spectral Throw. You could use Flame Totem, which you need to get because it's considered a projectile. So you're you know, given many options. I think Firestorm might be considered a projectile. I actually don't know. I haven't looked at that. That's a good one. So you're just going to move across, go directly through, and my goal now, because I'm not very high level because I remade the character, is I just wanted to self-cast and just skip totems until like level 70 or something. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to just come through projectiles, you know, move across, connect up, and go into Retribution, Elementalist, Light of Divinity. You know, this is a really good cluster here for damage. So this should be able to keep me up until probably like almost Merciless using Firestorm. Now, one other really good benefit about this is that if you play a Marauder or a Scion, it doesn't matter really which way you go here, you're at a huge disadvantage with you because you need Dex and Int. You know, for your totem, your Flame Totem spec, you need If you're running Herald, you need Dex. You know, Ice, you need Dexterity, and Faster Projectile, you need Dexterity. So in this build, you're kind of shot for stat requirements. However, there's this really shitty jewel that I never thought I would ever end up getting, but I think I might use it for a leveling process. There's a jewel that states it is 20 Dexterity and 6 to all resist, I believe. That's not bad for 1 point. You know, as a Scion, when you're branching out, you get 2 free jewels basically for 1 point. You can get the 10% to all elemental damage with 3 flat mono regen right here, and you can get the additional one, which is the 20 Dexterity and 6 to all resist right here. And then you can get both the Dex and the Int, and then you can wear an Amulet. So you're good. Like, that's quite a lot of stats. So let's talk about some other changes I decided to do. Let's finish through the Scion though. So when you get to about here, the build is kind of the same. You know, you don't have to get combat stamina, but I just wanted it for the extra armor, and it gives life regeneration. You know, you come up, you grab Sanctity into Retribution, grab all the damage here, move across. This is another switch I did, which is why I really like the Scion variant, is because I'm coming through this way and not through this way, I can justify getting Unrelenting or Unyielding without spending a point. And this part I still don't know about, but it's pretty bad, but it's a jewel and it's armor, and if you're going for an armor-based build, I mean, I want cast speed, so this is, you know, you can always just take it out. So this is an option, but again, you're so limited to how much casting speed you can really get on your build. You know, coming up, this is all the same here. Coming down, the only difference is I actually don't get blood magic on this character. So without blood magic, if I drop the comparison here, you can see I'm still at 185% life with 5 jewels. 4 of them potentially could have life, since 4 of them are not going to be unique jewels. Now, the other reason why, you know, just doing more theory crafting of this character, why I like this, is by not going blood magic. I actually did the math. Someone else did the math for me. So if I were to bring up a word pad here and type to you guys my gems that I'm using. So if we go Incinerate, right, with Incinerate with Spell Totem. Let's do priority here, right? Incinerate, Spell Totem. For leveling, you're gonna need, let's see, lesser. That's LMP. So lesser multiple projectiles and faster projectiles. You pretty much can't play it unless you have these. Now, granted, this gets swapped out for a Rain of Splinters, which puts you back to a 3-link, which then you would put in faster casting as a 4-link. Now, if you don't have this setup, meaning you have to use LMP, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's already your 5-link, then your 6-link in that scenario would be Fire Pen. Once you get Rain of Splinters, that would be your 5-link, not your 6-link, and then your 6-link would be an Iron Will. So, with this setup right here, if you were to not use LMP, and you were to use just this 6-link costs 28 mana on a totem, because Incinerate is not a very mana intensive skill because it hits so quickly, but putting on a totem bypasses that. With Unrelenting, it costs 28 mana on a 6-link, I believe, which is absolutely nothing. You know, I could reserve 50% of my mana, no problem, and go Incinerate. The other option is I can go ahead and get Sovereignty, and potentially, I don't know this part yet, this part I haven't done the math, but potentially I feel that I'd be able to do Anger, Herald of Ice, Herald of Thunder, and I'll have the stat requirements because I need Intel for Incinerate, I need Dex for faster proj, and you know that'll just add to the fact of getting free damage. So being able to run 2 Heralds and an Anger Aura, hopefully off Sovereignty, would be really, really cool. I'm not really concerned about mana regeneration because, I mean, it's not really going to cost that much. One other thing is, I also do have this option here for Righteous Decree, which could help me out with getting that extra boost of maximum mana, you know, if it were necessary. I've got optional mana regeneration here, which I really don't want to spec into, but, you know, it is there for me as well. So I'm pretty curious to how that's going to turn out. Something else that was really cool, that I was also scared at first, but, you know, I was really happy to figure this out, is that, let me just check to confirm this. Alright, so one thing that's really cool is the quality on faster projectile is actually casting speed. So I can get casting speed on faster projectiles, which also helps with the fact that I have like no casting speed in the build. So I'm pretty excited for it, man. So just to go over the statistics right now, We get 270 strength, which is not a lot for Iron Will, but when you couple using Dune plus strength gear, you could hit over 500, no problem. And again, Iron Will, the purpose of this 3 red gem build is to use a pure armor chest piece. That's the whole point, is to have it actually be tanky. So 270 strength, the dex is going to be a little bit of an issue because we need to get like 115 for a faster proj, but we could figure ways out. Intel, I think I need like 200 maybe, near 200 for Incinerate. I could be wrong though, I think it might be around 200. We get 100 base mana, which is really good for reserving auras to have, you know, a certain amount left. A good amount of base life. This is whatever. This is so 24% armor would be coming from Sentinel. So 24% armor on top of the armor we have now. We're looking at 180% increased armor with 185% maximum life. 2.8% life regeneration per second. You know, we did lose quite a lot not going Marauder, but it's still a decent amount. Like, hopefully this can help counteract a lot of degeneration effects. We get Unrelenting here, or Unyielding. Sorry, Unyielding for 20% reduced damage from critical strikes. We get the, you know, the +1 extra max fire res, the chaos res. Life recovery from flasks is coming from, is it this one? It's coming from Juggernaut. Right here. Enemies cannot leech from you. In this build, I actually do end up coming down here to Bloodless. I don't really think it matters too much. It's just for extra life. Moving down, we get 5 endurance charges, so we're looking at 6 potentially if we pick up Oak, 7 if we corrupt the belt. I do get decent... Do I get... No, I don't get that much duration. Unfortunately, I don't get that. I just get 1 duration, no. But it should be okay running a totem spec. Let's go down. We get also the regeneration from the endurance charges, so that's an extra 1.2% on top of what I'm doing now. So that 1.2% would put us at 4% life regeneration per second. 32% increased projectile damage, which is pretty cool because the projectile damage will scale everything on my guy. 64% elemental damage will also scale everything except for added chaos, but I don't think I'm using added chaos. We get the penetration, which goes for the heralds and everything else. The 10% chance of freeze, shock, and ignite. A lot of people asked why I ended up picking up Celestial Punishment, and the reason why is with Incinerate casting so quickly and then having 2 different Incinerates down because you're using double totems, you have 2 separate rolls at 10% chance to apply a freeze, shock, or ignite. This most likely will not apply on regular mobs, but on tanky rares or bosses, this will definitely be up. If you don't like it, unspec out of it. 5 jewels, 86% increased totem placement speed. This is a big one. When it comes to, you know, clearing endgame maps quickly, and again, I'm trying not to be as, you know, as crazy as I used to before about clear speed, but when it comes to you just doing so much damage, when it endgame, you're limited by your totem placement speed, meaning the faster you place down your totem, the faster the mobs die. When you one-shot everything so fast, like just brrr, and it dies, it's all about how fast you can place down the totem. We get increased totem duration, which is really good for tanky rares again. Tanky rares on top of bosses, because if you lose your stacks of Incinerate because it falls down, you gotta wait that extra, you know, half a second to 1 second or 2 seconds to get all of it back. We get 19% casting speed from totems, which is really good because this bypasses the... I'm pretty sure this bypasses the totem reduction penalty, which I can't show you because I don't have it on this character. Let's see, 82% totem damage. 26% totem life. There is a chance that I may need to spec into some totem life because of the Invasion League, and I've got 15% totem life here, along with this node here that I'd pick up as well for totem life. I kind of don't want to use the jewel that gives them life and immunity to stun. I mean, if I have to, I will, but I really don't want to because I feel that there's so much potential in a jewel slot itself. Next up, we get 29% spell damage, 7% casting speed with an additional 5% casting speed. Not a lot, but it's something. And then we get double totem effects. So I'm actually pretty excited with this character. Again, it gets 185% life, plus 4 jewels. So if you're assuming you get 5% life on each jewel, that puts it at 205% life. And the build is not that far in points. It's 106. You know, you could drop like combat stamina, you lose 5% life. It doesn't really matter that much. So there's a couple notes here and there you could drop as well. You know, maybe you won't need the stats as well here. So I like it. I'm pretty excited, man. I have very high hopes for this build in the new league. You know, I feel it's going to be very, very, very sufficient on its own. One other thing to note is this is actually 106 points with 5 jewels allocated. You know, if you were to take out the jewels, it'd probably be like 100, like 98 maybe, not 98, like 99. Let's see, 1, 2, 2, 97 points. So quite a lot of points are being spent on jewels, and that's really important, because that means that it's getting to this efficiency with these jewels allocated. And if I don't have the jewels, I'm not going to allocate the points. So yeah, that's definitely a good thing in my mind to think about. So again, that's pretty much going to be it. I'll have this build posted, directly in the info section down below. I'm missing a jewel. There we go. So if you guys are interested or want to take a look at it, feel free to take a look. If you guys have any questions or whatnot, feel free to drop them down below. But I'm actually pretty excited, man. I think that this is going to be a really solid build. So hope you guys have a wonderful time. Hope you guys enjoy yourself. And remember, if you like the video, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And check me out streaming at twitch.tv/Pohx. Hope you guys have a wonderful time and enjoy yourselves, guys.